Welcome everyone and good morning. Welcome to the first meeting for ACFID's Disability Equity Community of Practice. Fantastic to have you here for this first meeting. My name's Anne Fitzpatrick. I'm the Learning and Impact Advisor here at ACFID, and I'll just be introducing the rest of the conveners in a moment. But I'd like to start with acknowledgement of country and acknowledging the traditional owners and custodians of the land from which we are all calling in today. For myself here in Canberra, that's the land of the Ngunnawal and Ngambri people, and to pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. Just a little bit of housekeeping. I'll be the inclusion captain for the meeting. If you're having any accessibility issues or requirements for the meeting, feel free to send me a message directly and I can get in touch with the conveners. And speaking of the conveners, we're really lucky as a community of practice. We've had 4 fantastic people from the sector, from ACFID membership, put up their hand to help guide and lead this community of practice, which is a big commitment of time and effort. So we're really lucky to have these 4 people. In terms of the conveners and the chairs for our community of practice, I'd like to introduce first of all Karen Clark from ADDC. Karen, could you just give yourself an introduction?
Thanks, Anne. This is Karen speaking. My name is Karen Clark and I'm the Executive Officer for the Australian Disability and Development Consortium, known as ADDC more commonly. I've worked for a couple of decades in the international development space from a range of advocacy, program and organisational strengthening type roles. A lens through all of that I've had is ensuring that people with disabilities, their families and their representative organisations are always participating and have a role to play in all the programs. So I'm really excited to be part of this COP. Thanks.
Thanks, Karen. Our other chairing convener is Lisa Johnson from Fred Hollows.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Johnson and I'm the Senior Equity and Inclusion Advisor at the Fred Hollows Foundation, where I've been working for about the last 7 years now. Prior to that, I worked with Humanity and Inclusion, CBM, UNDP, all over the place actually, in Africa, the Middle East and Asia. Disability rights has been something that has been a passion of mine for a very long time, right from when I started out as a social worker working in rehabilitation through to my career in international development. So I'm super happy to be here today. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Lisa. And we've also got 2 wonderful people giving support in the convening group with background support. I'd like to introduce Will Mesner from CBM first.
Hey everybody, my name's Will, here at CBM, previously at Baptist World Aid and World Vision, both in advocacy capacities. My experience with disability started growing up with a sister with an intellectual disability, and so the equity journey started off in Sunday school and primary school, trying to help people to understand that she was equal and help to navigate those systems, and now it's exciting to be working on those systems at much higher levels. I also live with ADHD myself, not here as an expert in disability, but very much here to help this group to thrive. Thanks.
Thanks, Will. And we also have Jackie Lipson from Murdoch Children's Research Institute.
Thanks, Anne. Hi, everyone. Really great to be here today. I'm Jackie Lipson. I am the Disability Inclusion Officer in the Global Health team at the Murdoch Children's Research Institute. And I also work part-time as a research assistant and project officer in a disability research hub here at the Murdoch Children's. And my background is as a pediatric physiotherapist, so sort of coming more from the health research side, and relatively new to the development sector. So I'm also not coming as a super expert, but just, really glad to be part of this group. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jackie. And I'll hand over now first the meeting to our co-chairs, Karen and Lisa. Karen, over to you.
Thanks, Anne. Thanks so much for setting up this group, and it's great to be attending here for the inaugural COP on disability equity. And it's great to see the interest in this topic in the sector really steadily growing over the past couple of years. I believe there's been 43 people who have registered expression of interest for the COP, which is fantastic to see, and look forward to the discussions that we're all going to have over the coming months and so on. It's lovely also to see so many people who I have met through Australian Disability and Development Consortium, so ADDC, which I run events, particularly the Disability Focal Point Network that's been going on for a number of years. So great to see you here too. ADC is an Australian-based membership network that focuses on advancing disability equity through international development. And if you're not a member, you're most welcome to come. It's free. I can put a link in the chat. ACFID holds a permanent position on our executive committee, and we work very closely together at the moment, particularly on our advocacy to government on their new international disability equity and rights strategy, which they're in development of, and I'm sure has come across your radars as well. ADDC has been running a similar peer support network on disability equity for a number of years, so we're really excited to combine those efforts and to be a part of this ACFID community of practice as well. So it's great to see. As I said, I'm really looking forward to the conversations that we're going to have to learn and share more about disability equity and what that actually looks like in practice, in our work and in our organisations, and even in our relationships with our colleagues and beyond. There's been a significant semantic and also conceptual shift in disability inclusion space in recent years. And that's a shift from talking about disability inclusion to talking about disability equity, as you'll see in the title of this group. Just before Easter, I had the privilege of being in Canberra meeting with politicians with a senior disability rights advocate from Samoa. Her name is Falo Utama Utasolo. And Falo shared in our meetings with politicians, including touching on this point with the Minister for International Development in the Pacific, an example of, in practice, of really what this shift from disability inclusion to disability equity is really focusing on and what it actually means. She shared that Australian aid for quite a number of years has been supporting an inclusive education program in Samoa. And what they've seen is a steady increase in the number of children with disabilities in schools. And that's fantastic. That they see that as a direct result of this program and investment. However, what they're seeing now is that the education of those children with disabilities who are in the classrooms in Samoa is not at the same level as those peers, that they can't actually access the learning in the same way that their peers are. And that's when we start talking about equity. So what we need to now think about is how to actually transform that classroom to enable the children with disabilities to fully engage in the learning process. And that might be looking at the way the education's delivered, looking at the room itself, certainly looking at attitudes and assumptions around people with disabilities and what ableism is embedded in the system. So these all need to shift to be able to enable the children to access the education. And I think Falo's example certainly resonated with politicians to say that, you know, international development work has had some fantastic impacts in ensuring people with disabilities can access spaces, but now we have to go further. And that's what I'm really excited about with this group as well, is talking about what that means in practice in our work now going forward. When we start talking about disability equity, what does that really mean needs to shift and transform, both in our organisations, but in the programs that we will deliver to actually ensure that people with disabilities are on par with their peers, are participating, driving the processes. But before we get into the real depths and complexities of that over the coming months, to start with today, our meeting will really be focusing on setting up the structure and understanding what it is that you are really interested in doing in this space. What are the topics that you're really interested in? What's the structure that's best going to support your practice, your learning, and us hearing from you in terms of your expertise as well in this area? So we'll start with some get to know you game, which Lisa will be doing, which will be lots of fun. And then we'll be spending the bulk of our time in small groups. And we'll be running through those questions in more depth. We'll be taking some notes from you around what your ideas are. And then we'll look at the convening group to pull that together in terms of reference, which we'll share back with you as a first draft for discussion. to hopefully make sure that what we set up together as this group really does support our learning and drives our practice. We will formally go for about an hour, so we're looking to go till about 11 o'clock. However, the convening group and Anne from ACFID will remain online, so if you have anything you'd like to chat to us directly about, please do hang around. And also, very importantly, if you have any questions about the MyACFID online portal, Anne will be on to be able to answer those questions, and if you're having any challenges navigating it. So please do also hang on for that half an hour. So after that spiel, I'd love to hand over to Lisa to jump into our first round of activities.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that introduction, Karen. Jackie, I believe you're about to share a QR code. What we're going to do is we're going to do a bit of a poll to learn a bit more about who's in the room. And so what you need to do is either scan that QR code with your phone to get into the poll, or join at menti.com and then use that code 59947460 to access the poll. Perhaps give me a thumbs up when you're in.
Sorry, could you please repeat the code?
Sure. The code, it's on the screen at the very top of the screen, but the code is 59947460.
Thank you.
Okay. Jackie, do we have everybody in?
Well, we've got 17 responses, so if anyone wants to add more, or we can move on,
maybe if anybody's having any difficulty, perhaps you could send a message to Jackie.
Yeah, please
do. Just in case you've got any issues with getting into the quiz. Okay, so looking at where we're all coming from today, we've got a few coming in from Sydney, Melbourne, several people coming in from Melbourne, Wurundjeri country, Ocean Grove, Victoria, Port Moresby. We have somebody coming in from Port Moresby. Welcome. Canberra, Phnom Penh, and the Blue Mountains, Darug country. Excellent. We have quite a range of people coming in from lots of different places today. Excellent. Thank you. If we could move to the next question, Jackie. Using one word, describe how you are feeling today. Excellent. It's quite fun seeing this form. Okay, we've got excited, tired. Yep, I imagine there's a bit of tiredness around. Is tired big because several people wrote tired, Jackie?
Yeah, I think
okay.
so, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But the same amount of people are excited, so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good, good. Busy, curious, cozy, energized, stressed, intrigued, distracted, snotty. Oh dear. Grounded, Excellent. So we've got quite a range of emotions and states at the moment, all over the place. Are you an early bird or a night owl? Or neither? Okay, looks like the early birds have a slight edge here. Nope, hang on. We've got an equal balance of early birds and night owls. I'm curious about the neither. Okay, excellent. So a good mix. We've got the clock pretty much covered. Which superpower would you like to have? Mind reading, invisibility, teleportation, flying, or you already have a superpower? Okay, looks like the teleporters are winning. I'm curious about the people who already have a superpower. I'd love to know more. Maybe we can discuss that in the groups. A few flyers, one for invisibility, but the teleporters have it. Hand on heart, who's wearing pajamas right now?
I wonder if the answer would be different if it was a different time of day, given it's a morning meeting.
Yes. Yeah, and I imagine this has shifted quite a lot since COVID. Okay, we've got 12. Nope, that would be unprofessional. However, we do have 4 people fessing up to having business shirts or tops on top with PJs on the bottom, and 4 people who literally took their PJs off before the meeting. Well done to you. Next question, Jackie. What's the strangest thing you've ever done while attending an online meeting? Okay, lots of cooking going on, I see. Multitasking. One wearing pajamas, one eating breakfast, brushing teeth, but lots of curious things going on, but their lips are sealed. Very interesting. How many years have you worked in the development sector? Okay, so we've got a really great spread here from some people who are new graduates, right through to people who've been working for, yeah, right across the spectrum actually, and with five of us on the call, for whom it's been so long they've lost track. Excellent, that's great in terms of all the different levels of experience that we have on the call. That's fantastic. To what extent does your current role include a focus on disability equity and rights? Okay, excellent. It looks like for many of us on the call, it's a big part of our roles. However, it's also great to see some people on the call for whom it takes up a smaller part of their work, but obviously you've got an interest, and that's great. Everybody with all levels of experience is very welcome to this group, and that will really add value, actually, having people with different levels of experience and years of experience working in this sector. Excellent. Thanks, Jackie. What is your level of knowledge and experience in disability equity and rights? Okay, great. This very closely matches the previous question and really shows that we've got quite a wide range across the group, from people who are just starting out on this journey through to others who have considerable experience in this field. Excellent. Disability touches most of our lives at some point in some way. How has disability touched your life? Okay, great. Thank you for that, Jackie. Really interesting to see that there's only one person who's replied none of the above, which really indicates that disability really is something that touches all of our lives and is very much part of human diversity. So not surprising that we've only got one person in that category. Really great to see that there's quite a number of people on the call with lived experience of disability. That's fantastic. You'll no doubt bring a lot of richness to this group. And we've got 4 people who are indicating that they have a parent or a grandparent with a disability, and 5 people who have a friend with a disability, 2 with a sibling with a disability, 1 with a neighbour, and 2 with a colleague. So quite a wide spread. What would you like to get out of this community of practice? Excellent. Okay, so there's a really strong focus on wanting to learn effective practices from elsewhere, and to share successes, challenges, and lessons learned with others across the sector, and also to plan and take collective action. Less so, and obviously making connections with people with a shared interest across the organisation. But great to see that there's a really strong focus on that sharing and learning across organisations. Excellent. Thanks, Jackie. All right. Well, with that, I am now going to hand us over to Will, who is going to give us some instructions for some small group discussions that we're going to go into. Over to you, Will.
Hey guys, so the listening part of the meeting is coming to a close soon, and we're going to get into the talking and doing part, which is always very fun. So we're using Jamboard today. I'm just going to share my screen. This is an online collaboration tool for anybody who hasn't used it. In a moment, we're going to break into some small groups, and in your small group, it will indicate a color, pink or yellow, etc. So that will indicate the color of post-it notes that you're going to put on these boards. So if you can see my little cursor here, what we'll do is go over to here, the picture of a post-it note, so you can get a post-it note. You choose your color here. Let's say I'm blue, and then you put your message here. So now that this is posted, I'll just go and put this onto one of the 4 columns. Now your small group will have one of the members of the committee here to explain and run through these different questions. Essentially, we're going to be going through some questions on why we're here, what motivates us to engage with this COP. If you click up at the top here, you can go to the next screen, which is our goals and focus. So what this COP is going to be aiming to do. And finally, there's some questions around logistics, how and when to meet, group values, communications, and that sort of thing. I'm just going to share a link into the chat now, and I think we're going to be placed into small groups. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask for the whole group before we get into the small groups? All right, well, if you have any questions, then you can ask them in the chat or ask in the groups. If anybody, for accessibility reasons, is going to have some barriers to using this tool, then you can just speak verbally with your small group, because we do have voices. Let's go break into those small groups now.
Hello, it's Karen speaking. I think everyone is back from their breakout rooms. Hope you all had enough time to get through at least the 2 slides. I know with my group we barely touched the 3rd. Certainly I think we could send around, and I'll have to see whether Will gives this the nod, the thumbs up, whether we can send around this link and leave it live for the next 24 hours so that you can actually come back in. And if you didn't quite finish a conversation or a thought on any of the topics, we would love to hear it. So please do. We'll email, we'll put it in the My ACFID portal, which Anne will be going through with us in a couple of minutes. Maybe, Anne, you could even demonstrate how you do that. And hopefully you'll also receive it as an email from the portal as well, to be able to come in and add in your thoughts and ideas. I did want to spend just a minute or so, if there was anyone from their small groups who's brave enough in the bigger plenary to share any key thoughts from any of the slides from your group, or any discussion. I just thought I'd open it up now to see if there's anyone.
I'll jump in. One of the big things we talked about was around shared learning, and everyone's creating all these resources and good practices, but we need to stay on track with each other and keep progressing. So shared learning is really important in this teaching. That's one thing.
Yeah, thanks, Cashel. That certainly looks like it's a theme that about connecting, learning, and sharing. It's looks very common from the sticky notes that I've been seeing popping up. Another conversation we were having is around connecting on various events and campaigns that organisations are doing, particularly around International Day for people with disabilities, but it could be other international days. So sharing what your organisation is doing and looking at how to either amplify what others are doing or connect or share the internal work that's happening. So it's another one. We have time for one more comment if there's someone else who would like to share from your conversation in your group. No, fair enough. I look forward to reading all the comments that are in the document in the Jamboard, and as I said, we will send that round for you to comment in for the next 24 hours as well, while the conversations are still fresh and the ideas. Lisa, did you unmute? Did you have something?
Oh, just that we had a question come up, Karen, towards the end of our discussion, which was about the role of ADDC and this group in terms of networking and advocacy. I think it was Isabel that asked the question. I don't know whether you'd like to elaborate on your question, Isabel, but I just wondered whether you might be able to address that, Karen.
Thanks, Lisa. Very happy to address it. But first, Isabel, did you want to add any more to that?
No. It's a very straightforward question. So if you could answer, that'd be great.
Sure. So ADDC has been around for around 10 years, and a lot of our focus has been on that space in terms of advocating to the Australian government, but also partners, Australian agencies, to include disability equity as a core priority within their programs and within their organisation. So that mandate for ADDC is our strongest focus and the one that we'll be continuing to take forward. So the advocacy space, we work very closely with ACFID, being a member of our executive committee, and we try and look to work with everyone across the sector as well to amplify that priority. We will certainly be continuing that, and we'll be looking to keep leading on it. However, because we are also very involved in this community of practice, there will certainly be crossover. The original setting up of the community of practice has been to look at learning and sharing and connecting with each other on particularly programmatic and organisational development in terms of disability equity. It's a huge topic, obviously, and there's a lot in there. So we thought the community of practice would focus primarily in that space. However, advocacy, obviously, you're strongly connected to it, and ADDC would continue doing the work we're doing around advocacy in partnership with you and ACFID and this COP. So hopefully that clears it up, Isabel.
Yep, excellent. Thanks, Karen.
And Anne, did you have anything else to add to that from ACFID?
No, thanks for clarifying that. There's plenty of work to do. So yeah, great to have the two spaces.
Fantastic. Great. Well, from here, we're almost at 11 o'clock. Thank you very much for your time and participation in this very first meeting. Just before I hand over to Anne, before you leave, to give us a quick run through on the MyACFID portal. Remember to stay online if you have anything that you would like to continue chatting with us about, any questions that you have for us or ACFID around the portal. In terms of next steps, we're looking to set up our next meeting in a month's time, which would bring it to Thursday, the 23rd of May. We'd look to doing a similar time to this. And then we'll also dive deeper into how regular we want these meetings, what format we want. We will, in the meantime, share a bit of an overview of what we have heard and we'll be reading from the Jamboard today with the group in terms of direction and focus and topics. So the convening group will do a bit of thinking around that, present back to you for discussion at the next meeting in terms of how we work together and what it is collectively we're looking to learn and connect on. So on behalf of the convening group, definitely want to thank you for coming, and we really look forward to where we go in the coming months together. But as I said, I'm going to pass to Anne now to show us the MyACFID portal. So thanks, Anne.
Thanks, Karen, and rest of the convening group. So first of all, a big thank you to all of our members who've been having some issues with the portal lately. You may have received an email about MyACFID and the COPS platform and some issues we've had that we have now resolved. If you're wanting to hear a bit more on that, or if you don't have a MyACFID login yet, I'll just talk you through just the steps, and this will be how we'll communicate as a community of practice. All the messages are going to go through this platform, and meeting invites, so on. So I'm just sharing my screen. The place to start is on the ACFID website. Just if I can have a thumbs up if the website is showing. You can, yep, awesome. So up in the top corner we have the MyACFID link. So if you go to MyACFID, if you have not signed in yet with MyACFID, there'll be an opportunity to sign up or log in and create a password. Once you've done that, you will need to check in with the person from your organisation who is the sort of the lead for MyACFID, and they can link you to your organisation or you can email me, or an email address will forward out the cops@acfid.asn.au, and we can make sure you're linked up. Once you're linked up, you've then got the menu here to join or leave a community of practice. When you go to this space, you'll see now that we have the, I think this COP, because it's one of the most recent ones here at the end, on the third page, the Disability Equity COP. And if you click into there, you'll have the option to join. I've already joined, which is why it says leave. It takes about 30 minutes for that to go through. Once you are wanting to actually look at that platform, we ask you to go to the communities platform. You'll probably all find we've had to do a reset of our communities platform, which means when you go in, or if you've already, you'll have a thing come up asking you to agree to our terms of use. Just so we've done that reset, and it's done a reset also of notifications, which I'll show you in a moment. So in the Communities of Practice platform, you can select on the list of your communities, and you'll see here that we've got the Disability Equity community. Once you've joined that, you'll be able to enter it, and this is where we'll be able to post, put announcements about meetings coming up. We have our conveners here, just need to add Will. In the discussion tab, we've got the option here to post a message where you can ask a question to the group, share information, share an article you've read recently, whatever you'd like to share, and you can add replies onto that. As for those of you that have already joined and may have been having some issues, or if you hadn't noticed you'd had some issues with your notifications, up here in the top right-hand corner, there's the circle with your initials, which is your profile. If you go through to your profile, you can, in your account, you can set up your email preferences for how you get notifications, and you may need to redo this with this reset that's happened. If you go to your email preferences, in here, you'll be able to set your, sorry, it's in your community notifications. You'll be able to set when you receive notifications. Mine are all on real time. You may want to change them to a daily digest or no email at all if you don't want to get that traffic. And you can also have options to set up a consolidated weekly digest to get all of your COP information in one consolidated weekly email or daily email. If you're having issues at all, feel free to email myself or the cops@acfid.asn.au email as well. And just again, some real apologies that we've had these issues with the platform. I know it's made it quite tricky in getting information or knowing what's going on. So thank you very much for your patience. If you have any questions about the ACFID platform now, feel free to stay on and we can sort you out right at this moment. I'll have a breakout room that you can enter to come in and have a chat with me, and we can share screens and make sure that you're connected as you need to be. Or otherwise, feel free to stay on and have a chat with Karen and Lisa and Jackie and Will about anything else about the community of practice as well. Karen, back to you. Anything else we need to finish up with?
No, thanks, Anne. I was busily trying to change my preferences on my email too, so it was really useful. Thank you for running us through that. No, this brings us to the formal close of our session. So thank you very much for everyone participating. And as I said, oh, I see Lani, you have a hand up. Oh, no.
It's Lani speaking. That's an accident. I'm not sure why it's there.
Nice to hear from you, Lani. Anyway, thank you very much for participating. And if you would like to stay on and have a chat either with Anne about the portal or myself, Lisa, Will and Jackie, please do. We'll be hanging around. But other than that, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you at our next meeting on the 23rd of May, which we'll send a calendar invite round for. So thank you.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Emma.
Thank you.
Awesome.